It's Happy Hour again from Uptown New Orleans. Hello, I'm Grant Morris. Happy Hour is part of the family of shows on the podcast network. It's neworleans.com. When you walk into a bar in New Orleans and you pull up a bar stool, you never know who's going to be sitting on either side of you. What you do know is no matter what they look like, what they're wearing, whether they just got out of a limousine or just got out of jail, they're going to be happy to talk to you because that's New Orleans. And this is Happy Hour, a cocktail-fueled 60 minutes of random conversation with folks who have nothing in common other than we're all New Orleanians in a bar. Today we're at the fabulous Wayfare on Ferret Street, which is a bar and a restaurant where they serve handcrafted food and spirits. They have a whole new menu and a radically new happy hour. They have a 3-hour happy hour here starting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Do any of you guys like to start drinking copiously at 3 o'clock in the afternoon? Manny Chevrolet is here.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Do you start drinking at 3 or earlier?
On the weekends, I usually start around 11.
11 a.m.?
Yes, 11
Okay, so
a.m.
you'd be a good person to come here on the weekend for a happy hour.
I guess so.
You'd be pretty tanked by the time it got to happy hour. You would have paid full price for many hours, for 4 hours. Not bad.
Well, it's good to know. That's 3 hours. That's we've already
it's
lost
saving.
We already lost an hour. Right?
I know. Well, we get these are free, though, so don't worry about it.
Well, yeah, this first
That's
round's
good.
free.
Yeah.
Salute, everyone.
Salute. Here's to it.
Yeah, there you go.
Sindy Scalfi is here too. Cindy, how are you doing?
I'm doing excellent.
You're good?
Yes.
You've got a sort of a sexy sounding voice as well.
Oh, thank you.
Wouldn't you say? Yes?
Yes.
Certainly.
Does everyone tell you that, Cindy?
They do.
They do. Is it from smoking cigarettes or what?
I don't know.
Were you born with that?
I used to smoke for years, and then
Yeah.
I quit in the
You
90s.
scream at people a lot?
I quit in the 90s, so I'm real happy about that. I never thought I would be able to.
Because the voice sounds like you scream at people a lot. You scream at people?
That is so
Yeah.
mean.
Do you have road rage? Because I know I do.
Do you? Do you
Well-
scream?
Sometimes, my favorite saying is when I'm driving, I just say I hate people. I hate them.
It's funny because your name is Chevrolet.
Yeah,
so
I know.
even
I'm driving a
stranger.
Dodge these days.
You know,
too.
I did-
Oh, that's even worse.
I did have, I think I told Graham, a radio show in Nashville. And that's why the voice, they did like that because it was about dogs.
So you're a sort of professional radio.
Well, not really. I mean, I just had, it's about,
This is good to know for us.
oh, no.
You could help out.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. You can
Sure.
take over.
Be
Yeah.
careful.
What
Careful
you,
what you
why did
commit
you just
to.
pop in your mouth? Is that acid?
Yes, it's
Nice.
acid.
Okay, Daria Dzurik is here and Graham Robinson are here from a band called Daria and the Hip Drops.
That's right.
How are
Thank
you guys doing?
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
And we've got steel drums
We
here.
do. We
Two
do have
giant.
steel
We've never had
drums.
this. Of all the things we've done here on Happy Hour, we've never had giant steel drums.
Hey, Gabby!
It's a first.
Gabby!
Gabby's here apparently.
Yes, she is also here.
Gabrielle in the house.
Manny's found some. Talk about screaming. Do you want to have Cindy scream for you? Cindy, turn around and scream at Gabby.
I think he screams enough for both of us.
Who is
Oh,
Gabby?
Manny Chevrolet.
Gabby, Gabby, oh yeah, she used to work for me at,
She's looking over here like, what the hell
Yeah,
is
what-
going
Well,
on?
I'd
Yeah,
love
but
to know that you've hit on a good subject already because I asked Graham, she couldn't tell me. What do you actually do?
as little as possible.
Okay, but what did
Well,
Gabby
to pay
do for you?
Well, to pay the rent, I work at Tulane. I'm in textbooks.
You're in textbooks.
Yes, textbooks. So let me tell you one thing about textbooks.
All right.
They're heavy. Books are heavy. Books are really
That's why you're
heavy.
in such good shape.
And Gabby was one of my assistants during our last rush that we had, and she didn't do well.
She had to fire her.
Well, no, she just was. They don't fire anyone at this place. They just kind of
At Tulane University, you don't get.
You gotta
Just
go.
let you go. How does it? They sort of subtly suggest
Yeah.
that you, can
You might
find
have to switch to
Yeah.
Kindle books
Yeah.
soon.
Well, that's it. That's the way the book and this working at this textbook has just turned me off reading completely. I haven't read a book in like years because I just look at these and I deal with these professors who are such think they're such privileged little fucks. You know?
Really?
They just I can't stand them.
Are they all like that? Some of them must be all right.
Well, some of them, the ones that are all right, are the ones who are like wacky, crazy professors who've been there like 30, 40 years, living in their office because they don't want to pay rent in an apartment. And
How long have you been there?
Good. She's 11 years now.
11 years, almost. How long have you been in New Orleans?
Let's see, since 2000.
So that would be 28 years.
Yeah, New
Right,
Orleans
okay.
time. Yeah, and then
So most of the time you've worked. Well, the first 5 years you did something else, apparently.
well, I used to make short movies, and I met this girl who's now my wife and mother of my child, and
that's working
we
out.
made a, sort of like a mockumentary about the first time that I ran for mayor in 2002 when Nagin won. So we made this mockumentary, because it was so great because we had no money to film it, but we just had a camera, we had tape, and I actually got on the ballot so that way I could get free footage for my movie. I could go to these debates and get free footage, and that's how we made the movie, more or less. And we just got met people and said, I want you to be this person, I want you to be my campaign man, I want you to,
Did you run for mayor to try and make the movie, or did you run for mayor to actually become a mayor?
Well, it was one day at the Circle Bar, where I used to live above the Circle Bar.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
when I first
I used
moved
to
here.
buy cocaine off somebody above the Circle Bar, actually. I can't remember their
Oh, Louis, yeah.
name. I can't remember who it was.
Might as well be.
No, shouldn't be saying that as a politician.
This
Well,
is
you
New
can know
Orleans.
about it as long as you're not buying it.
I was sitting there during happy hour drinking with some people, and I'm kind of not really a native yet or whatever. I've never, I guess, maybe a native, but I was like, God, what's going on in this town? Shit, I should do something, run for like councilman. They go, yeah, you should run for mayor, man. And I said, okay, sure, let's run, let's do it.
So that was all it took.
Yeah, that was it.
Did you have a platform in the beginning?
Well, the slogan was great, and that's what got me a lot of press.
Troubled man for troubled
Yeah,
times.
that was the slogan.
And you were a very great. Were you guys all here at the time when Manny was running for mayor? Graham
No,
and Daria? Are you
I
guys
was not.
Are you from here?
No, not
No.
originally.
More recent than
Not
them.
original.
Where are you from originally?
I am from Tallahassee, Florida originally, and
I'm from Daytona Beach, Florida.
Geez, I wouldn't move from either of those two places. Why did you move here?
Oh, you'd be surprised. Daytona Beach, Florida.
Sounds good to me. It's got the word beach in it right there.
exactly.
I'm gonna be in Tallahassee on Monday.
Really?
Actually, yeah.
What are you doing? Taking
I'm
some
t-
books?
No, yeah, I'm actually taking the kid to Disney World, but
Oh.
so we're gonna stop in Tallahassee to spend a night there because I don't feel like driving 10 hours all the way to.
Yeah, well, we
to the
should
Magic
talk about
Kingdom.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what do you recommend you do in Tallahassee? Just you, is the three of you, or just you and your daughter?
The three of us, the wife, yeah, they'll be in the trunk and I'll be up front.
Of course. Are you guys actually spending time there, or are you just kind of like sleeping
Probably-
for a night?
Just probably sleeping for a night. Maybe if you could suggest a good place to have dinner.
Yeah, you should go to Momo's.
Momo's?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
pizza as big as your head. That's like their logo, but it is
That's
like
not that big.
it's
If you had
bigger,
a head,
honestly.
if you had a head the size of
I know.
a large pizza, you'd be a fucking
slices.
Those
Those
drums.
drums
Slices the
right
size
there.
of your head.
Slices the
Slices
size
the
of your
size.
head.
Slices.
That's what
Is
it
it
is.
slices? Or
It
something?
is.
Okay.
Slices
They're massive.
as big as your head. Yeah,
can't
so
fit
like
it in
an
a
actual
car.
pizza is like bigger than this table.
Okay.
So like the first time I bought a pizza, I borrowed. My mom has a Miata, and I borrowed her car to pick up her pizza and bring it home for dinner. And I couldn't fit it in her car. I had to ride with it on the roof with one hand of it on the top of her car and the other end. But yeah, Momo's in Tallahassee is a fabulous place to get pizza. I feel like it's the best I've ever had.
And tell
like,
Manny
ever.
what he should get on his pizza, too.
Bradley sausage. Bradley's is a local sausage that's made in Tallahassee, and they only sell it there, and it's the best sausage ever. And
You've
it's
had
got
Bradley
sage
sausage
in it.
before?
Oh yes, I used to sell it at my
You know
soccer
their
games in
face.
high
Look,
school.
your soccer game in high school.
Yeah,
She
that
loves
was
to
like
smoke
our
sausages?
fun. Yeah, well, they would make like sausage dogs, so that was like our fundraiser in high school for soccer. You would go out to games, and we would post up outside of Home Depot on weekends and sell Bradley sausage dogs. But at this, because it's all local, so they have this local pizza place called Momo's where you can get pizza that's like a slice as big as your head, and then you can get the local sausage on
You're
it.
getting
It's
paid
awesome.
for a
I
commercial.
was
I
gonna
know
say,
you
should
are.
be.
Come on,
We're waiting
I'm
for
going.
a free
Oh, the
pizza.
check's coming.
At least a
hope-
free pizza.
At least.
Yeah, I hope they're listening, because it's the best.
Oh, okay.
So in the meantime, you stood outside Home Depot as a high school kid with a barbecue,
I did.
making sausage
Sausage dogs.
Dogs.
Instead of a hot dog.
So it's
you
a
know,
hot dog with
sausage
a
dog.
Bradley sausage in it.
Exactly.
Were you right next to all the day workers at Home Depot?
Yes.
She didn't know what they were at the time.
We were friends.
Oh, okay.
Now, how did you two guys meet? Because Graham, you're not from there, right?
No, I'm not. We met in
You're from
Tallahassee.
Daytona.
Yeah, Daytona
And what's wrong
Beach,
with Daytona?
Florida.
Why did you leave? there?
Well, there's just not a music scene there, honestly.
I thought the Allman Brothers came from Daytona.
They did,
I guess
but they
left. as
They
well.
got the hell out of Daytona
Right.
Beach real quick. They went to Macon, Georgia. That was a pretty happening spot for them. But I went to Tallahassee. I went to FSU, and I was in the music program there. That's where I met Daria.
You're both in the music program.
Yes, we lived down the hall from one another, and the rest is history.
What were you studying? What
I was
aspect?
studying jazz performance on the upright bass, and I've always played a lot of different instruments, but I feel like that's a pretty orthodox jazz instrument, and it was something that I could get a degree in. But since I moved over here, I mean, jazz, obviously, New Orleans is the birthplace of jazz, period. But I've played a lot of different kinds of music that I didn't expect to, and so did Daria.
Yeah.
I mean,
Were you playing steel drums in school?
I was. I went to school for classical piano at Florida State, and I also played in their steel band there. My high school actually had a steel drum band, so I was lucky enough that Florida
high
State.
School. They're making hot dogs, and sausage dogs, and steel drums.
Yeah,
What's the name of the school?
Leon High School in
Leon?
Tallahassee. Yeah.
Just one name.
Yes, it is.
Hi, I'm Leon. I'm going to have a school.
Yeah, best school.
I'm the
best
principal.
school in town.
I'm the principal and janitor. And I teach lab in the mornings.
Yeah, Leon actually, it was built in the 1800s, and it's the oldest school in Tallahassee. So it's got like a lot of history to it, and it started out, I think, as an all-women's school too. So it's pretty established. It's the oldest school in town, and they had a fantastic arts program. They had a steel drum band. They now have a dance program and a guitar program.
Who teaches the steel drum band? The same guy, Leon.
No, his name's Mike.
Why would you start a steel drum band in a high school?
Yeah,
what is this guy? Is he from where are the steel drums from? The Caribbean somewhere?
Trinidad.
Trinidad.
And
is he from Trinidad?
No, but what's funny is I met Mike, the current steel band director at Leon High School in Trinidad this January while I was there.
So he got you hooked on it because he got hooked on the Trinidad.
Well, no, he's just the current guy. The guy that was
What else did you
directing
get hooked on in
time.
Trinidad? That's what I want to know.
Chow.
Soca fever.
Chow is what they call it.
What is that?
Chow is awesome. It's basically mango diced up really fine, and then it's like covered in garlic and cilantro, and it's like a really healthy little snack that they sell on street corners, and it's my favorite now.
How much is a bowl of chow?
It's like 6 TT is what they call it, which is like
TT?
$1.
Okay.
Would
Pretty
chow go good with Bradley's sausage?
Oh yes. Oh my god.
Great.
And a side of chow.
Yes,
Yeah.
that would be
And a
ideal.
slice. Is the chow as big as your head?
No, the chow is not. That's just Momo's.
Hey, Cindy, you've been traveling around too.
I have.
You went to Africa, I see, according
did.
to my information. in
Oh,
front of
this is
me.
my second time in November.
Did you run to Leon? Or Mike, the steel drum teacher?
I think we did have a mic on our bus.
Well, that would be. You went on a bus to
Well,
to
a little.
Kenya.
It wasn't a bus. It was a little safari vehicle. But I went to the Serengeti the first time in Tanzania, and then we went up and traveled up to find the mountain gorillas. Trekked up and found the mountain gorillas. That was wonderful. I spent my birthday doing that. And
Spent your birthday hanging out with gorillas. Huh, interesting.
yeah.
Did you find any gorillas?
Oh yeah.
What do they look
Yeah,
like?
it's-
They look
it-
like the ones in the zoo, like.
They are so healthy and shiny and very furry. You know, a lot of ones in the zoo don't have a lot of hair, or they have
Right.
thinning, and
They eat their own crap.
they're. I didn't see any of them.
They
eat
weren't
crap.
doing that in the wild. They do that at the zoo.
No, they do that at the zoo. They
Yeah.
just because they don't have anything else to do.
I guess that's what you do. That's
Yeah.
I guess that's normal. That's
Yeah.
evolution, right?
Yeah, and anyway, it was a fantastic,
So
life-changing
what is?
trip.
Was it really life changing? How did it change your
I
life?
feel that it was. I'm actually a certified dog trainer and some behaviorist. So what happens is I went with a group of people who were all biologists, behaviorists, authors of books, so forth. And what we would do is just sit in our vehicles and watch behavior all day. We would talk in the morning about what to look for, and then we'd go out. I could sit for hours just looking at a baboon or a lion or whatever and
Right.
not get tired of it at all.
Right.
But the reason I think, and the main thing for me, how life-changing it was, is that I finally got that we are all animals. And humans are animals, of course. We're just human animals. And we're primates, to be particularly directive. And people don't act that way because humans usually act like they're more important than other animals. But
Well,
in
we
fact,
think we are because we invented the iPhone.
and our
Google.
behavior, yes, our behavior, the way we do our hands and how primates relate is hugging and kissing, and we behave the same as they do.
Well,
And
so you look at the apes and think how awesome they are, the gorillas and the baboons. What do they think when they look at you?
they think I
Dinner.
don't know what they're thinking.
What do you-
No. I think
You must
no,
have some
I think-
idea. They
I
run
think-
away? Do they come over to you?
They're drawn to you. And they
They're drawn
just-
to you because they're hungry, or
No, not at
they
all.
want to interact
They're
with you?
not. They're not carnivores. They're herbivores. You know.
Are they?
But-
Really?
but
Gorillas
they-
don't eat meat.
They eat. No, they
Oh,
eat.
that's
They
interesting.
eat.
They eat tree bark, don't they? I've seen them eating
They
trees.
eat all kinds of trees and leaves and stuff like that. But and
they're
vegetables
vegetarians.
and yeah.
They were curious about you. It was what's this
Now
naked
don't look
ape?
this up and find out. Oh, she is so.
Gorillas are vegetarians. Is that what you're saying?
Let me just say this.
They don't kill other animals and eat them.
I wouldn't bet my house on it, but I'm pretty certain
where's
that
your
they
house?
are. I feel that.
Is it in a is it in a good spot that we would want?
No, if any animal, if you see them and they like even lions, if they've eaten, they're not going to be interested.
No,
in
but
you.
lions kill animals and eat them.
I know, but what I'm
Are
saying
you saying
is,
the gorillas don't?
If they're hungry.
Well, yes, obviously. Why would you go to all the trouble of killing an animal? If you weren't hungry?
gorillas kill animals. Gorillas kill other animals if they're being threatened.
What, is someone calling you or something?
Yeah, there's somebody's calling.
Who is it?
Nobody.
Are you going to Google?
It's King Kong.
Yeah. I want my phone back. Hey,
Hey, you told me to turn it on.
yeah, you can keep it on. So gorillas, you're not sure that they don't kill animals? No?
Honestly, I feel so stupid not knowing the complete answer to your question.
Oh,
but
I would
could
think
be,
you would,
I
seeing you
know,
went to Kenya and it
exactly.
changed your life.
But
And you,
I
You
could
went
be.
twice. Didn't you go twice, you said?
You guys, I am going to grill y'all on something. Y'all
Sure,
just
go
y'all just
ahead.
tell
I
me
thought what
something.
you said was very insightful, Cindy.
Well,
I did.
and I'm pretty. I would almost bet my
Thank you,
farm.
Graham.
I would almost bet my farm on it.
Okay.
But my point. Let me just finish my point about animals in general. You're talking about did they want to eat you? Is no, animals don't want to eat you unless you threaten. I mean, if they're
Unless they're
hungry,
hungry.
if they're hungry. But what I'm saying is, when you go to Africa, first of all, you can't get out of your vehicle in the Serengeti or the Masai Mara or anything.
you can
like
drive into the jungle
that.
where
You
the
can drive
gorillas
into
live.
it. Well, jungles don't. We don't drive. You trek up. They live up on the Virunga mountain range. They live in a couple of different places. But where we went was in Rwanda. They're not.
Wow.
Gorillas aren't.
You went to
in,
Rwanda.
right. That was very.
I've only seen that movie. That doesn't look
that
like
was
too
very
attractive.
intense because
Yeah.
we went to the museum, the genocide museum. And,
Wow. How much is a genocide museum to get into?
don't know.
People are dying to get into it.
Same price as a chow. You don't remember what you paid to get
Oh
in?
my God. No, I do not remember. Isn't that something that I didn't write that down?
Well, I was wondering what genocide cost to look at.
Oh my.
You know, it's a strange thing. The genocide museum, the same as the Holocaust museum, all these things. I mean, they're essential, I suppose, to remember. It just seems so macabre. doesn't
World
it? Or
War
go
II
to-
museum?
Yeah, the
Sure.
World War II museum right here, or Auschwitz, or whatever it is you can go into in
Paying
Poland.
to observe it.
Have you ever been to that World War II museum?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
It's not very elderly friendly, if you ask me.
With a lot of stairs,
It's
a lot of walking involved.
Yeah, and like a lot of the work, the posters and the artwork they have, and the descriptions of these photos and stuff are such small type and stuff. Like I took
Yeah,
my
I see
in-laws
that.
there a few years ago.
Oh,
And,
yeah. At the displays, you mean? Like when they have the,
and it was like, because who's going to the World War II museum? People who are,
certainly. Yeah.
in the war.
Oh, but
or-
man,
Well, there aren't many
don't
of
they
those
have
left.
an audio? They have like a little. You can get a cassette tape in a.
I
with
would hope so,
headphones.
because my poor father-in-law, he was like, the guy was blind anyway, so we had to like read it, and I could barely read it. It was just and it's so dark.
was.
All the exhibits were so dark.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
So I don't really care for that. And I went to that restaurant they have there,
Oh yeah.
the canteen, the
American
can-
sector?
yeah, American sector, or whatever it's called.
Oh, that's nice. That's a nice place.
You like that
I
place?
have to tell you, I'm
Why are
sorry.
you
I'm gonna
touching me?
change your subject.
Why are you touching me?
I haven't.
What, you use me as a napkin or something?
I looked up my gorilla herbivore, and they
Yes.
are herbivores.
Okay.
But
Very
every
good.
now and then,
That's
if they have to
good
eat an
job.
insect, they will. Is the way but-
Right. If
but
it's
but
annoying.
they
Are those just the
predominantly
monkeys, or do gorillas do that? They clean each other, they pick the fleas.
They
Nits.
Why is she touching
See, I don't
me?
know. She's very
because
attracted to man.
I'm a
Demonstrating.
because I'm a
behavior.
You're an
primate.
omnivore? You're an
I'm
omnivore?
a primate.
Primates like to touch
I like
each
to
other.
touch and pick out stuff.
He doesn't look like he has any nits.
He doesn't have any nits.
Do you catch anything off these other people working at Tulane?
His wife knows.
Some of them look a little questionable.
A little lousy with
Yes.
Yeah, it's usually the faculty
Right.
more than the students. The students
So-
are all these rich kids who can afford to bathe in milk if they wanted
So
to.
do you like anybody?
Do I like
I mean,
anyone?
you hate the professors and the students by the sound of it. Who's over there that's nice to work with?
Oh God, let's see.
Gabrielle's been fired. Apparently she couldn't handle it.
Well, she
What about
had
Steve?
actually Steve.
Yeah.
Who's Steve?
Doesn't Steve work there?
Siebel?
I don't know. His other name is my neighbor.
Oh, Steve's your neighbor?
Steve.
Yeah, he works
Steve
there.
and Elizabeth.
Yeah,
They're
you
my
know.
neighbors.
Really?
Yeah, so
Oh,
Steve works
yeah.
at Tulane in the textbook department.
Yeah,
What
Steve's
is his other name?
his other name?
Siebel? Is it?
Siebel, yeah, I think
Okay.
Siebel.
Oh, I've been his neighbor for, I don't know, 20 years or something.
Oh, you're the one who won't fix the fence, right? Is that
No,
it?
I'm not that
He
close.
keeps. Yeah, Steve's a good guy.
He's nice.
Yeah, he's
He's
a good
pretty
guy.
curmudgeonly as well.
Yeah, he is. He doesn't like to do things much.
No. So that's a good team. You
yeah,
and Steve, right?
exactly.
Okay.
We're not winning any customer service award. Let's just put it that
So
way.
what do you actually do there?
We deal with the professors and getting the books for their classes.
So you order books.
Yeah, we order, receive them. We have to deal with publishers. Because of course there's a new edition of the same book coming out every week, and then there's the law school you got to deal with and their books, and then the business school, and then the English school, all these schools.
There's a lot of schools, yeah.
Yeah,
Right, okay. And so you buy if I'm a professor of something and I want a textbook for my class, I have to call you and you have to buy them. Do you have to approve them and make a deal with the publisher and all that sort of stuff?
Well, yeah, we have to do all sorts of. We have to find out what's the estimated enrollment, what's the past history of this book being bought, and then then we have to put it out there for the student to go online and order the books and all that kind of stuff for their classes. They have to get their schedule, But the good thing about this job is I'm only really busy like 3 months out of the whole year.
That is good. So you got 9 months.
9 months. I go run for mayor. I can go on my interview. I could do this.
Right, and they don't care what you do. They're not asking you. There's not
they
punch
don't
the
care.
clock type of job.
No, well, not really.
Okay, so should we talk? Let's talk about politics in a minute.
Sure.
But first of all, let's make the Daria and the Hip Drops play something.
Oh.
What do you think?
Sure.
Okay.
I like
I'll
that.
go get another drink while
Yeah,
I
I'd
do
like
that.
to.
Okay, so then,
Great.
so we have two giant steel drums here, and how many people are in the band normally?
I like to call it a flexible machine, really, because
Okay, so
well,
What's
so
a core
it's
band?
it's me and my songs, and then Graham plays with me all the time. He has to. He doesn't have a choice, but he would like to anyways. So it's always the two of us, and typically there's 4 of us total, but we do play a lot of festivals, and so I like to bring on my 2 extra horn players for festivals.
Okay.
So it really can go anywhere from just like the 2 of us to 6 or 7 of us.
but
and
this is your band. You're writing all the songs.
I am.
And singing them.
Yes,
Okay.
Graham helps.
Yeah, we write songs together.
Oh, you do? Okay.
So what?
Get that in there, Graham. Get that.
So what kind of music? If someone said, "What kind of music is it, man?"
I would say, man, it's pretty genre-defying because I'm pretty genre-defying. I mean, when it comes down to it, when you have things like iTunes and Amazon where you have to use like your typical classification system, I usually put it online as alternative pop because that's what it is. It is pop music. It's upbeat, it's danceable, and it's singable, but it's not like your typical what you would hear on the radio, which is like both good and bad. It's got a lot of Caribbean influence, and it has a lot of rock and funk influence.
Yeah.
And it's got pop/funk aesthetic.
Yes.
There you go.
That's what it says on Facebook.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
Someone's
so
been looking
that
up
must
my
be right.
website.
I just copied and pasted that right off of Facebook.
It must be right if it's from the internet.
Yeah, and I've heard friends, I've had friends tell me, oh, you guys are kind of like new wave reggae. I've had other people say Carib pop, like Caribbean and pop put together. So lots of different things, but like most comparable, I look to artists like Givers out of Lafayette
In
and
terms of the
Santa
local
Gold. I love the Tom Tom Club. So stuff that has a lot of like world influence, but is like very accessible in a pop and rock aesthetic.
The Very Best is another new group that
Yeah,
we really like.
great
a
Very
lot.
best.
Yeah.
And where do you play in New Orleans?
We play around town. Our next show in town is at the Creole Tomato Festival at the Mint in the French Quarter on Sunday, June 12th at 4 p.m. We play at Gasa Gasa. We love Chikiwawa. We played at the Ace Hotel recently. So just random events around town. We've done the Wednesday at the Square things before. We always do French Quarter Fest, Merlaton Fest in the Bywater. So I love doing festivals. And as far as venues, Chikiwawa is probably my favorite. But
Yeah, we really love Chikiwawa.
Yeah, we like One-Eyed Jacks. We like Tipitinas when they like us. We like Gasa Gasa.
Do you like anywhere you get paid, or is there something
Oh yeah,
special
I
about this
love
club?
places where I get
Yeah.
paid.
Right, that's what I would think.
But we like some places just because they're cool.
Yeah,
Okay, like
For sure.
Chikiwawa's cool. Is Tips cool to
Yeah.
play it still?
Tips
So
is cool to
it's
play at.
always-
I love
it's always
Jehu who
wonderful.
does sound there. He is
Oh, it's the
fabulous.
best.
You know?
Tipitina's is top notch.
It is. It really is.
What about House of Blues? I guess you don't get to play the House of Blues.
We have.
You have?
I like to call it the House of Rules myself because it's like they dictate your set times. I mean, I might get put on blast from the House of Blues for this, but I really don't care. It's all kind of dictated and
It's corporate.
It
It
is. But
is
they
very
have.
close.
But on the plus side, they
It's Live
definitely
Nation.
they have their act together. You
They've
know,
got
and it's
good
very well
hospitality.
organized. Yeah, and that's super important.
Right.
yes.
Okay, so what are you going to play for us today? You have a record out, by the way. Can we steal something off
Yes,
Spotify?
we do.
Yes, you can. Yeah, I have my record Hypnotic, which we released in September, everywhere online. It's on Facebook and iTunes and Amazon and Tidal, any like digital distributor that you can think of.
Okay.
But we're playing a song off it called Battleship that we're going to do just with my steel pans acoustic and with Graham's acoustic guitar.
All right, let's check it out.
All right.
Battleship.
Yeah.
The name of the band is Daria and the Hip Drops. I suppose that means that Graham is a hip drop. Check it out off and the Hypnotic is spelled H-I-P, Notic, by the way, not H-Y-P. If you're looking to steal it off of Spotify. Okay, here we go.
Ready?
Yeah, are you? Is everybody ready? You got your keys, but got your wallet. It was kinda cloudy out, just like you called it. Got your guitar, got my big blanket. I saw your battleship. I know that there's a place way down the road, somewhere the sun is shining on the coast. Yeah, you got your keys, I got your wallet. It was kinda cloudy out, just like you called it. Got your guitar, got my big blanket. I saw your submarine and you know I say yeah. I know that there's a place way down the road, somewhere the sun is shining on the coast. Yeah, I know that there's a place way down the road, somewhere the sun is shining on the coast. I know that there's a place way down the road, somewhere the sun is shining on the coast.
All right.
Oh, my goodness. Fantastic. Nice going. What do you think, Manny?
I like it. I like
Cindy?
it a lot.
Delightful.
Yeah, you guys, that was great.
That's
Hey,
the
bring
word.
that
Thanks.
guitar over here. Graham, I got one more thing for you to do in just a second. Daria, that was surprising, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. It
That
was
was-
really fresh.
That was
very
surprising.
fresh. And
Very
very
nice.
delightful.
Thanks.
Very nice.
Very
It's
fresh.
a song about sinking someone's battleship.
Exactly.
That's really cool.
Thank
Very
you.
impressive. Yeah, a whole bar
Thanks,
like that.
y'all.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, the name of the album is Hypnotic, Hipnotic, if you want to go
That's
find it
right.
and steal it off of Spotify. So now,
Yes.
Graham, you have to play a little bit of music behind me while I read these commercials.
Okay.
And then we're going to come back and talk about politics with Manny and figure out what's going on.
Okay.
Okay.
Wonderful.
So just play anything, that sounds like that would make people buy things. Thanks very much to the following people who have made today's show possible. Starting off with the Uber. If you find yourself a few drinks in and you need a ride home, Uber is the smartphone app that connects you with a ride at the tap of a button. It's safe, it's easy, it's reliable. You can request a ride at any time and a car comes directly to you. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go and download the Uber app. Your driver knows exactly where to go and payment is completely cashless. Wherever you're headed, count on Uber for a ride. You don't need a reservation, you just need to download the app. And when you do download the app, if you don't already have it, write Happy Hour NOLA in the promotions section of the app, and you'll get a free ride up to $20 for your first ride on Uber if you don't have Uber. Daria, do you have the Uber app on your phone?
I don't, but I will now
Get it
after
right
hearing
now.
that.
Yes, go to uber.com, not uber.com, go to the App Store or
I have it.
Google Play. You got it already? Well,
Yep.
you've lost it. Manny, you don't have it, I bet. Do you?
No, I don't.
So you can
No
get-
one's driving me
You can
anyway.
get your first ride for $20. Happy Hour NOLA. That's right, the promotion section. Thank you too to Basic Swimming Gym. We can get a full range of fashion swimsuits, as well as workout and yoga clothes with super style. Basic Swimming Gym is on Magazine Street near Jefferson Avenue, and just down 2 blocks or so from there on Magazine Street, on the same side of the street, on the riverside, is May's Guitar and Sisters in Christ Record Shop, where you'll find thousands of records and books and a huge array of vintage guitars, vacuum tube amplifiers, and effects pedals from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Whether you've never picked up a guitar in your life or you've been playing forever, you'll find a gem at May's Guitars. They're off Jefferson, just on the other downtown side of Jefferson Avenue on Magazine Street. And finally, thank you to, good job, Grant. This is
Yes, very
Thank
nice.
you to Hangover Destroyer, the only all-natural product medically proven
I could use that.
to prevent a hangover. Go to the Hangover Destroyer website. It's hdestroyer.com, and you write Happy Hour in their coupon code, and you'll get 30% off of Hangover Destroyer, so you too can seize the dawn. Thank you very much.
I go to Basics all the time. I
You
love
go
it.
to Basics.
Oh, I
hey,
love it.
Tell them we sent you.
I will.
This is the cure
I
for
will.
a hangover right
Thank you, Grant.
here. This
Another
is the
drink.
cure for a hangover.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Good answer, Manny
I don't
Chevrolet.
need no destroyer. Who is this woman over here with the camera?
Alison Moon. She's a photographer.
Oh,
You know who-
okay.
Why? What do you
Alright.
think? You were just wondering if there was some sort of
I haven't
random
seen her
person
work.
who just
She's just
wandered in?
She's
I'm
just
going to go
been
get
taking-
another cocktail. I'll be
Yeah.
right back.
Okay.
Are you going to go get a drink, Graham? Okay,
Yeah.
do you want anything, Daria?
I'm okay.
Okay. Graham's going to go. We have a lot of Grahams here. This is Graham, our producer, this person.
Ah,
in the red
okay.
dress. So now it's all come clear, right? It's very confusing.
You know,
Sindy, I got a question for you in a minute. Yes.
when I was, these two were so delightful. But when I was telling them, because I lived in Nashville for quite some time and doing my music, and I wrote this song actually after the first time in Africa called Animals.
Can you remember how to play it?
Well, I could probably sing it a cappella. It's
You
just
don't
a
want
little,
the guitar?
No.
Okay, you want to sing it?
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
trying to sing it.
Here
Let's
we go.
see.
It's called Animals.
And it has a little, y'all might be able to help me out. We live in the mountains. We live in the deep blue sea. High in the desert. Run wild in the Serengeti. Some live in the moment and never asking why. True to heart and nature of the earth and sky. We're animals, animals. All of us animals, animals. Ah, yeah. Animals, animals. All of us animals, animals.
Hey, nice.
Yeah.
You've got a pretty cool voice there.
Oh, thank you.
So you were a singer-songwriter too. And why did you stop doing that? To become a dog
Well,
trainer? Or did you
I've
do
done
both?
it for many years, and I just kind of put it on the back burner at the moment. I left Nashville. I'm here. I still sing and write. I may actually do a little something here, but I was actually an oil painting major in college, and so I'm painting. I'm doing some painting now.
Oh, you can do
But I
anything.
love
So you can
music.
paint, sing, host a radio show.
Oh yeah.
What?
She's a Jill of all
Trained
trades,
dogs.
as it
Well,
were.
see,
Expressor, I'm an
Wow, you're a good
expressor
thing.
of
The real
feelings,
thing.
as I said. You know.
That's a good thing about being an artist, though. Your career never ends. It might stop.
You can
sometime.
never retire.
Yeah, you never
No.
retire. Like I've been acting since I was a kid because I'm from Hollywood, grew up in
Are you
Hollywood,
really?
so it's
Yeah.
kind of you're born into it kind of thing.
Were your family in the movie business?
My dad was an opera singer,
Wow.
and he told me not to go into show business. He said, "Do not go into show
Yeah.
business." So I went into politics instead.
Oh, sure.
Did you really go into politics other than your runs for mayor, which seemed to be sort of more of sort of an ironic rather than serious, or were they serious?
Well, they were pretty serious.
Are you going to do it again then?
I don't know. We'll see.
This is the time when we really needed a new mayor who knows what he's doing, or she.
Yeah, I
You
don't
run as a
know.
woman.
Well, Mitch just like, I think like a lot of mayors, a lot of presidents, or the second term is always just like they don't give a fuck anymore. It's
That's
like,
what's happened here.
Yeah, so that's what's going on.
Lame
He keeps
duck.
patting his back for all this stuff that he's accomplished, but that stuff is because of Katrina money, and that's
Yeah.
when Nagin was
Right.
When Nagin was.
Well, I'm worried
there.
about this Landry guy because what is going to happen to New Orleans?
He's
The
he
crime
wa-
rate is getting worse and
My
worse.
wife swears he wants to be sheriff. He wants Gusman's
He
job.
wants that job. Well, he could have it today by the look of it.
Oh yeah, what happened?
Looks like
with
they're
that?
going to fire Marlon Gusman. I don't know.
Well,
He
they
said-
should.
Somebody said in court in some sort of hearing today, so he's an expert on the jail, that he doesn't have a clue what he's doing. They have no clue, I think was the exact quote.
I'm sure he doesn't have a clue.
Why would somebody want to go from being the mayor of a city and he was the lieutenant governor of the state to running a jail? I mean, what does your wife do? Is she in politics?
No, she's a graphic designer.
Okay, so she might know something.
I don't know. I mean, she might know. She's the one who said it. You know.
I don't know. That sounds a bit unlikely. I mean, I think he has higher aspirations than that, but he certainly isn't doing much.
Well, what
as
else
a
is
mayor.
he's going to be governor? He's not going to be governor. He's going to have to wait 8 years to
Right.
become governor.
So what's he going to do next then?
I don't know what he's going to do. You know. Have you ever seen him? He rides that. He dressed up in he's a big cyclist enthusiast or whatever.
Right.
I saw him once going down Calhoun Street near campus, and he was dressed like one of those Italian cyclists. He had a little hat on and a little Cinzano shirt.
You have
All
to.
right.
You have
Serious.
to.
And he said, "Hey Manny, how you doing?" I said, "Fuck you, man. Fuck you."
So he
You know.
knows you by name?
Yeah, I've known Mitch
You're
for
on
quite a
first
while.
name terms with Mitch.
I knew him when he was lieutenant governor. I met him during some forum or debate. I don't know. You get to go to these
Because
things.
you were in the whole thing.
Well,
You get to know all these people.
Yeah, you get to know them. Yeah, you get to know them.
So did you meet? You obviously met Nagin.
Yes,
So
met
did you have
Nagin.
any clue how stupid Nagin was when you met him?
Nagin, the first
It took
time-
us a
the
long
first
time.
In 2002, he seemed like the golden boy.
He
you
was
know?
great
Yeah,
then.
He was great. He was, he had it right. Where I was like shaking babies and kissing hands, he was doing the opposite.
Well, that's where he got it
So
right.
I learned from Ray.
So I voted for you in 2006 when
You
it was
did?
you versus Nagin.
This, after Katrina, right?
Yeah. And because I thought, I thought what a great idea to vote for you. And then I was shocked. I mean, I really was shocked when I saw the results and how many votes you got. Do you
Yeah.
remember how many there were?
I think it was like 100 or something like
Like
that.
I thought it was like 117 or something.
Yeah, 117.
I couldn't
votes.
believe that I was
But
only one
listen,
of 100.
listen,
I thought you could have thousands.
2002. Let me tell you something. 2002, there was 20 candidates. I finished 13th. 2006, there was 20 candidates. I finished 10th.
Okay.
2010, I finished 9th. At this rate, if I keep running, I'll be like 80 years old. I'll be mayor.
I
Okay.
think you're going to be
You
the
know.
mayor.
It's a numbers
know,
game at
it's-
this point.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. This is the funniest thing. I go to the market. I go pick up my kid from school. I meet people, total strangers, who come up to me and go, "I voted for you, man. I voted for you." So since 2002, I believe I've met about 20,000 people who said they voted for me.
Well, you know
So
what?
how come I only had 170
I'll tell you what, the
votes?
system must be rigged to hell because I honestly did vote for you. I swear to God I voted
Well,
for
thank you very much.
I voted for you. Well, it was just the runoff, wasn't it? It wasn't the. Was there a runoff for Nagin or was it just one?
No,
I can't remember now.
No, I think there was a runoff between him and Mitch Landry.
There was.
There was.
But I
that
was
first
just
time.
really, really shocked when I. What is Graham doing with a hit flask? She's a bar.
Yeah,
You can just get
baby,
drunk.
Getting ready for
yeah.
happy
What is she up to?
Pass that over here.
Like a good Graham.
Hey,
she's
Dollface.
got her mind in the right place.
Dollface, pass that over here. She's ignoring me.
So Manny,
Yes.
could it be rigged if we all voted for you and you got 117 votes? Because
Hey, nothing would surprise
it
me.
doesn't
Look,
because I saw on.
nothing would surprise me.
I think if you do one thing that needs to be done in this city that nobody is getting done, but do it before you get just do it now because you're who you are. Like figure somehow to fix all the potholes yourself or whatever the case may be.
Well,
I
who
mean-
was it?
Potholes,
Davis.
yeah.
Yeah,
Some-
Davis had the pots of
Something
potholes.
that would be like where everyone would you could say that you
That
know,
I
you
did.
did
I was the guy who
accomplish.
did that,
You
so
did
therefore I
accomplish
should be
this.
elected.
I think
Yeah,
that's
okay.
what like that guy George's wanted to do. He's a rich businessman. He says, "Oh, it's kind of what Trump's doing. I know how to solve things. I make money.
Yeah.
I make
Right.
money. You know, I'm going to solve
But
this.
just
and
prove
solve
one
that."
thing you can do that nobody else has done, which is many. Probably a very small thing would mean a lot.
Yeah, I guess
The
so.
potholes is a
I
good
believe
idea,
so.
but do you have an answer for that? I mean, is there even a theory about how to fill in a pothole other than fill it in?
Well,
yes.
yeah.
Graham?
Pot.
Pot.
No.
Pot for potholes.
Pot for potholes. I'm stealing, who is it?
Davis Rogan?
Davis
David,
Rogan.
Davis Rogan. That guy
campaign.
ripped me off,
Oh.
man.
Uh-oh.
And that show Treme ripped me
Well,
off,
come
too.
on.
In what
Go-
sense?
That show Treme,
Yeah.
my slogan, Troubled Man for Troubled Times, they have the Davis
that's
Rogan character. He goes out. There's a scene. My wife and I are watching this because everyone's watching it because it's about New Orleans, you know. And he's at a bar going, "I'm a desperate man for desperate times."
Oh,
Like,
I think
oh,
that,
where do they get that
Okay.
from?
but that might
Yeah.
have just been a jab, but I think pot for potholes, I mean, come on, Louisiana. Get with it. Look at Colorado. I mean, get with it.
No, Louisiana's last in everything. Don't you
Oh,
understand?
well,
they're going to
no,
be
I
last
know.
to legalize it.
I
They're going to be
know. Oh, I
the
know.
last to fix the streets.
Even Mississippi is ahead of us on this
You know what
one.
I
mean,
love
it's
though? I
shit.
love when you go down these streets with have like thousands of little potholes, and then they come and they fill them up.
Yeah, well,
so
that-
now they're not potholes anymore; they're just bumps now.
Yeah.
They're just thousands of little bumps now. So I don't know what's worse for your car.
But what the worst thing is that 2 weeks from now it's a pothole again
Right.
because they're not putting something in
They're
there
just
that
putting a
keeps it from
Band-Aid.
breaking up.
It's just
again.
a Band-Aid.
Right.
It's just a
Grant, can I
Band-Aid.
ask
Yes.
you how many times potholes comes up on this podcast? on this,
Not that
on this
many,
video?
actually. Tell you the
Really?
truth. Chris, do we have
That's
many
surprising.
conversations about? No,
I
not
just,
that.
it doesn't have, it wouldn't even have to be potholes, but anyway, that is a big problem.
there's-
But it
if-
could be
Mostly
something.
we're talking about
problem.
Jesus. Or,
If I had to list like a top 10 of things that mean New Orleans to me, potholes would be pretty close.
Yeah.
Up to
Yep.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's not like in my top
yeah.
five. for
Top
sure.
5.
Top
yeah.
5
I
of
would
the
think so.
things you love about New Orleans.
Distinct
Well, when I-
well,
Potholes.
distinctions.
When I first moved here, I saw these T-shirts saying "Third World" and proud of it.
You thought that was a
And
joke?
and I was like,
Ooh.
I was like, well, you know, in third world countries, the kids know how to read and write and do arithmetic. You know, at least they know that. You know,
Manny.
here it's like they can't even do that. But I think, like I said,
Well, I've got a math question for you.
what's that? Oh no, my worst subject.
If 117 people voted for you,
Yeah.
and all these thousands
In
of
that
people
one
said
election,
they did,
yeah.
then how come you have 88,000 plus views on your YouTube video with Henry Rollins?
Well, because
88,000.
because that's Manny Chevrolet. That's Henry Rollins though too. Those are Henry Rollins fans
Right,
too.
but how could we not translate that into why didn't Henry Rollins do a campaign for you? How do you know him?
Oh, I knew Henry back in L.A. He, this woman I used to do short films with, Modi.
Yeah.
She shared an office with him. He's a real businessman, that Henry Rollins.
Yeah.
He's a real. He
Certainly.
bought up all these catalogs of he bought up Devo's catalog. He bought up all these catalogs of bands,
wow.
and just making money off of them, all the publishing and stuff like
Wow.
that. Yeah.
And he's sort of like a rebel type character. He comes
Yeah,
that's
he's
his
a
persona.
poet. He's a punk rocker. I remember,
Right.
see, he was great when he was a punk rocker, but then he started doing this spoken word stuff, and wheel, wheel, rolling wheel, angry man I am. Look at me, I sweat. And,
stand-up comedy.
Yeah, and then his stand-up too. He'd make it a joke.
I didn't know he did stand up, did he?
Yeah.
Graham, you're on.
But that is a funny
love that.
video. That is a funny video.
It is funny. It's like
hilarious.
him
Because
teaching you how to
Henry's
work
a
out.
real
He's a huge guy.
workout
Aggro.
enthusiast, and I was playing the Manny Chevrolet part, like
Yeah,
the guys
it's funny.
smoking and all that. And yeah, you could see it on YouTube.
So I'm just wondering how you can get 88,000 views on that and not come up with a campaign that would have got more than 117 votes. It doesn't seem possible.
Hey, I don't.
What happened?
I don't
Who's
know,
your
man.
campaign manager? We need some.
It was Miss Tilly for that election. Miss Tilly, who is a Lusher mom.
Okay.
Yeah, and she's got a really loud voice. But
Maybe you need someone with a bit of experience.
Well, Manny, maybe the NSA was shutting you down. Who knows?
well, I think Frank Donzi, the ex-Times writer, he put it best. It's just like, you get all these yahoos and all that who want to come and try to get, what was it? How long have you lived here?
25
Okay, I heard there's a story about some guy who ran for mayor, and his whole platform, his whole campaign was getting a gorilla in the zoo.
There you go.
They had no
That's
gorilla.
Cindy's whole point.
They
though.
had-
I like
you need
that.
an issue.
They had no
Yes.
gorilla, and he didn't win. He didn't even get that many votes, but like a year later, there was a gorilla in the zoo. You know?
That's Cindy's exact point.
Yeah.
Cindy, why is your name spelled S-I-N and not C-I-N?
It's my father's idea. It's Cynthia with an S. And so translated into Sindy, it's Cindy with an S. It's on my birth certificate that way.
So it's spelled Synthia, your
Yeah.
real name. Mm-hmm. But that looks like sin, S-I-N. Looks like you're a stripper.
I know, like Little Sin. It only takes a little sin.
Yeah. That's what I thought you were going to look like a stripper before I saw this name. I was surprised when I saw you walk in that you just have regular clothes on.
That's her prerogative.
Do people, other people think that, or is it just me?
Well, she's in
I
her
don't
daytime
know. They don't
clothes
tell me
right
if they
now.
do.
tell you? Oh,
They don't
okay.
tell me that.
All right.
But, yeah.
I've never seen anyone with
They
the
have
name.
asked me if I sin a lot.
Well, okay. So where's your dad from?
DeRidder, Louisiana.
DeRidder, Louisiana. Oh, my. So you're a country girl.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So
Comparatively speaking.
where is DeRidder exactly?
It's 20 miles from Texas and about 40 miles from the Gulf, north of Lake Charles.
It's probably closer now, right?
Yeah. And that's really why I came back to this area, because my mother still lives there. And
She lives in Lake Charles.
No, she lives in DeRidder.
DeRidder.
Yeah.
Well, that's like 5 hours from here.
4 hours, yeah.
Sorry, 4 hours.
And
That's
I just,
still
you
a
know,
lot.
well, I
What's-
had lived in
what's-
L.A. and Nashville, so that was
I guess
a
you're
lot
getting
longer.
closer. Yeah.
I got closer. I got
enough
closer.
for you. Enough for you. Okay.
But, you know, I got closer, and I can still do pretty much everything I've done elsewhere.
What are
and
you doing here? Are you training dogs?
I really am not training dogs anymore. I got really burnt out on the people, to tell you the truth. Because, you know,
It's
training
like the textbook world.
dogs
People are the...
I tell you, people are
the
horrible.
bane.
They really have
people
no
are
use
much
for
harder to
people.
train than
Like,
dogs are,
really,
you know.
like, in about after this show's over, I'm gonna have no use for you whatsoever.
That's
Yeah.
right. No,
That's
well,
your
we're
slogan, right? People are horrible.
Yeah.
People are horrible. They're the
People are
worst.
horrible.
You know?
Put
Maybe
Manny
we'll call the
Chevrolet.
show that.
But I've done some fun things. You know, I basically took my music and I put it all on digital, because I had it all on the old style stuff, tapes, CDs, and now I've done that. And then I actually it's on SoundCloud. I am on SoundCloud, so you could go there and
What do we look for?
my name.
Sindy?
Sindy
S-I-N-D-Y, Scalfi.
So what's a Saturday night in
S-C-A-L-F-I.
DeRidder like?
We always say it's Saturday night in DeRidder.
Yeah, what is it? I mean, what's
We
that
have
population
dinner.
like 40
We
people
don't
or
go.
something?
We have the best food. My family. We have the best food. We have the best drinks. We have the best. We
Is it
just,
your house you're
at
talking
my
about?
sister's. This is actually at my sister and brother-in-law's house.
So we'd have to go to your sister's house.
Yeah,
All
y'all all come. We go. You know.
I'm okay with that.
All right.
A pool, you know, it's sort of
Oh,
like
pool.
a little.
Okay,
It's
sold
sort
me
of.
on the pool.
It's
yeah.
sort of like a little
Just say the
country
word.
club in a small town. you know.
Okay. Can we bring the steel drums and everything?
These steel drums are so cool.
They're
you.
awesome, right?
I
Okay,
love
so-
that sound.
I love a
that
pool.
Are there going to
so
be some
great.
frugés at the party? Being close to Lake Charles, I'm sure you know some
Oh,
frugés.
I know Frugés. What
Yeah.
my best friend was a Frugé.
Which
What-
one?
Oh.
Her name was Elizabeth Frugé.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's got to be what 800,
Oh,
1,000
yeah.
more.
Why'd you pick on Fruget, Graham?
Well, just I know a lot of
One
frugés.
of our trumpet players a Frugier.
Yeah, we know a frugé, but he's
Really?
from Florida. But I play with Zachary Richard.
Do you?
Yeah.
Wow.
does.
That's a cool gig.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people apparently know him.
Yeah, people out
Zachary
in
Richard
West
is a
Louisiana.
big deal.
I guess so. I don't know.
He
but,
was the
but
biggest
drummer
deal-
at the time is Dudley Fruget, and he's
Yeah.
the drummer in the Fruget family band. So, and he was like, I met a Fruget here in New Orleans, and I was like, oh, do you know Dudley? He was like, there's 1,000 Frugets. What do you? It's like,
Yeah.
So how did you get a gig with?
Sounds like a
Zach?
disease.
Oh,
or
just a
something.
phone call. It was just a friend of a friend who plays piano with him. David Torkanowski, a buddy of mine, plays piano with him, and they were looking for a bass player. And
Well, they must think
called
pretty
me up.
highly of you because Torkanowski knows everybody.
Well, he
And
does
he's a
certainly know
awesome
everybody.
piano player.
Yeah,
and
he-
Zachary Richard takes it very seriously.
Oh yes, certainly. I mean, I
so
can't
you must
think
be
of.
pretty good.
I don't know. That's what
Apparently,
they tell
right?
me.
Daria?
Yeah, what Bill Summers say when we played with
Oh
him.
yeah, so there was we
Bill
went
Summers
to a show
thinks
that,
you're good, too.
Yeah, well there was a event that we went to that Bill Summers said there's so many talented people in the audience. You know, people were coming and sitting. I said I'd love to come up and sit on bass. And he said, well, are you good? And I was like,
Graham's
I
very
think I'm
humble.
good.
Graham's
And he was
very
like, oh, him and hard. And he was like,
Yeah.
okay, come up. And he was like, I didn't realize
And
that.
he was impressed.
Yeah, well,
He was
Okay.
very impressed.
but you know, presumptions. You know, when you assume you make an ass
and then
out of you
after
and me.
Graham played and wowed everyone, he was like, "Next time someone asks you if you're good, you
Tell
say
you,
hell yeah."
I'm good. I'm the best. I'm
Yeah.
the
Well,
I'm the
Bill
best.
Summers is a pretty
I know.
pretty good reference to have too.
Yeah.
Along with David Torkanowski
Well,
and
but
Zachary
anyway.
Richard, I
Yeah.
tell you, you
I
must
don't
be damn
know.
good.
Graham
Well,
will be going to you're doing the France tour again
Yeah,
this
we're
summer.
going in
he
August
goes
to
to
France.
every summer.
See,
and
that's
I
one
stay
thing.
here and chill by
Okay.
any pool that I can
Yes.
find.
Because
Doretta.
I imagine some New Orleans people, some Louisiana people listen to this radio show. I think
No.
Zachary Richard is certainly more popular in Canada and in France
Right.
than he is in Louisiana.
Well, he lives in Canada,
And I think that's a
first of all.
shame. No, he lives in Scott, Louisiana.
He still lives there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So does Alison Moon.
Awesome. There you go.
Alison
Well,
Moon.
right
Do you
next,
know
to,
any Frugers?
right next to the best stop.
Do you know
Really?
Eric Vogel?
Oh, yes. I know Eric Vogel.
Because
very
I
well.
have him on my list. When I put I'm going to have a band party. I'm going to put my songs I want to do. I'm going to have the best musicians I can
Call
get.
me.
I will. Now I've got two.
Come on.
I'm very
do,
excited.
Do you get Boudin from the best stop or from
does.
Billy's?
I'm a big fan of the
Nice.
best stop.
The best
I'm a
stop.
best
Oh, yeah?
stop guy.
Well, I thought that Zachary Richard had moved to Canada,
No.
Well,
But
he
that's
has
not true.
he has a place in Canada, and he has
but he lives in
a
Scott,
place in
Louisiana.
France.
Wow, that's
Scott,
interesting.
Louisiana. He's a Louisiana boy through and through. But I've been honored to get to play with him.
God, yeah, that's
and,
so awesome.
And but Dudley Frugier, the band is really phenomenal. You know. But
Hey,
anyway,
Should we make these guys play another song, Manny? Cindy, what do
Yeah,
you think?
sure.
Okay. You want to
all
do
right,
one more?
we're gonna do it.
Sure.
Okay. What are you playing this time?
What are we playing, Graham?
What do you want to play, Dara?
Do you want to do So Hard?
Sure.
Okay, we're.
She knows exactly what she wants.
Yeah,
to do.
okay.
I
Dedicated
thought
to the
about
Frugers.
You have to put a
This
little
one
thought
goes
into
out
it.
to
Which Fruger?
it. Ricio Frugier.
Dedicated to Ricio Fruger.
what's the name of the song?
You want So Hard? Yeah, Felicity.
Whatever you want.
This,
Anything you
yeah, let's do the song. It's called So Hard. Yeah, and it is also on the album Hypnotic.
It's on Hypnotic?
Yeah, which you
Okay.
can find on Spotify and all this stuff. And
All
make
right.
sure too, like if you like what you're hearing, you want to make sure you like us on Facebook and all that stuff because
Okay.
we need people to follow us if they want to keep up with our shows and all the new music we put out.
But Hypnotic is H-I-P, Notic,
Yeah, pun.
and the band is Daria and the Hip Drops.
Yes,
okay, got that.
with an ampersand because we're fancy, but typical like web domain names, you have to write it all out. So
Right.
if you're looking for the website and the Facebook, it's Daria and the Hip Drops, all spelled out.
All right.
Thank you.
Check it out. So hard.
She wakes up with her head up in the clouds. Would think of bringing it back down.
Yes. Yeah, the whole bar. Look at this. Everyone loves that. How great. Man, that's good. Daria and the hip drops. So hard off of Hypnotic. Okay. I mean, you can catch them at the Creole Tomato Festival.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this after the Creole Tomato Festival, is there like a website? You don't have a website.
We do have a website. It's
What's it
dariaandthehipdrops.com, and we're on
that's easy to
Instagram. Yeah, we our Instagram at hipdropdon'tstop, and on Facebook at dariaandthehipdrops.com.
Okay. Are you recording new stuff all the time?
All the time. Graham actually used to record at, he used to work at Fudge Recording Studio as an engineer and a session musician, but now Trombone Shorty has acquired the studio. So now that
Trombone
it's under...
Shorty owns Fudge. Now, what happened to Tom Drummond? Is he still here?
Exactly.
Well, he's got his own studio, Melville Studios, right
Yeah,
now.
but
he's
Tom
moved.
and company sold it, so Troy has it now. So
Yep, the
and it's
building.
no longer. I think it's like for his personal use. So we're really recording out of our apartment now, which
Yeah.
is really interesting.
Hey, it must be good for the neighbors with the steel drums.
They
going
love
on
it.
there.
They, you
They
know,
cool with it?
They
I'm
actually
like, do you
are
realize
with
that
it.
people pay a lot of money for this? You guys are quite privileged.
Yeah.
I don't know if they feel the
Are
same
you
way,
writing
but-
on these things? Do you write on steel drums?
I do. Since I went to school for piano, I actually mostly write on piano, but I do write on my pans, and simply because of the layout of the notes, the layout is different. I actually have another tenor pan too, which is one single pan, so that's a completely separate layout. So just the instrumentation of like how a piano versus a guitar versus tenor pan, or these are called double seconds, are laid out. It really affects the way you write and like your chord choices and how you would choose to harmonize. Because like for example on here, like I have one whole tone scale on one pan and another whole tone scale on the other. So on a piano, like where I have like C and C sharp and D right next to each other, here I have G next to my C. And on the other side of G, I have E flat. And on the other side of my E flat, I have a B. So it's like not all next to each other. So just simply the layout of it like really affects like kind of your note choices.
So it takes your sort of creativity in a different way.
It does, and I will like intentionally sit down to write on my pans versus like a keyboard. Sometimes if I if I feel like I'm struggling to find something new, I'll just like sit down and start playing until I come up with something just like based on the layout.
When you're like touring, do you carry those in a case?
Oh my gosh! So I flew with my pans for the first time for this
we did
Key
our
West
first
festival.
fly date
And
with the
actually,
pans.
so I bought a tenor pan over Christmas for myself. So a tenor pan is just single. So I fly and tour with my single tenor pan because it's lighter. So I have flight cases, which are like really sturdy, heavy-duty plastic. And Southwest, thank God, will do 2 checked bags for free. So a lot of musicians fly with Southwest because of that and because you can check your instrument. But
because they're so comfortable, Southwest.
oh my God.
Well, but that being said, Southwest Airlines, y'all familiar with Quintron, New Orleans?
Oh, he
very-
was
Yeah,
on
sure, I
United,
know
I think. They
Quintron.
Oh, was it
broke
United?
his... I'm
drum
pretty sure it was
buddy?
United. Yeah, his drum buddy broke
Yes.
recently. Like, I saw him post that on
Tragic.
Facebook last week. So I'm, like, super paranoid
Yeah.
about flying with my drums. But, like, I just take my tenor pan, and I had that on Southwest because I was able to check it for free, and thank God it came out in one piece. But, yeah, like, flying, you typically want to do, like,
Wouldn't it be
2 cases.
Smarter though, just to send your instruments ahead, like FedEx
Totally.
or something?
So get this, like I was playing with Jimmy Buffett's Coral Reefer Band this time last year.
Shameless plug.
And
So you play with Jimmy Buffett.
I don't play
you
with
play
Jimmy
with Zachary.
Buffett.
So you guys are like, hey.
one day
I play with
I
myself
will.
usually.
I hope Jimmy is listening.
Jimmy Buffett actually like listed me as one of his favorite bands on an interview he did at the American
Young
Library
band.
in Paris.
Wow.
And I haven't gotten to play with him yet,
meet him.
but I really hope to. I'm a big fan. But
How many margaritas did you have then?
He was
Zero,
in Paris,
hopefully.
so he was drinking champagne.
Yeah,
or
right.
Wine or something.
But no, I did a tour with just the members of the Coral Reefer Band. Actually, for a
You
company
did
they
the
were
Coral-
working
what did you
with there.
say?
The Coral Reefer Band. That's like his backup
Oh,
band.
okay.
They were doing their own tour, and I accompanied them with the band they were opening with and played on some of their sets. So they're a guy, Robbie Greenidge, who's a Trini, and he plays double tenor, which is like the
Trinidadian.
same size as these. He flew, and then like you were mentioning, he had his stuff FedEx before he got there, but lo and behold, FedEx also lost like his stands in the trip. So when he got there, he was still like kind of screwed from it. He figured it out because he's Robert Greenidge and he's amazing, and he ended up using like the drummer had an extra snare stand, so he rigged 2 snare stands up and got some wire and like jury rigged his pan to work on the snare stands. But yeah, like I just feel like with the way like flights and shipping companies are, like you never know. So even shipping his in advance with tracking, they lost his, and even like supposedly I remember he said that FedEx had told him that his shipping label came off, so they didn't have the location where to send it to. So I feel like anytime like flying with instruments or traveling where transporting them is always like gives me a panic attack a little bit.
It's a crapshoot.
It is.
How much are these steel drums to buy?
Mine I got for $1,500, and I got them used from a pan tuner called Darren Dyke, who switches his time between Paris and Austin. But typically, like, there's a guy in Pensacola, Alan Coyle, that's a pan maker, and his new drums will go for like $2,000 to $3,000.
$2,000 to $3,000.
Yeah, it
Not bad,
varies.
considering,
It
I mean,
varies.
you're not going to buy. Do you replace them, or do these last a lifetime? Could something go
I've
wrong?
had no. They'll last forever. You have to get them professionally tuned, so I can't tune them because a big guy with like a hammer will come in and like bang the notes out of them, you know. So I have to get them professionally tuned. But I've had these since I was like 20 or 21, so they've lasted me about 10 years so far. And I mean, they're pretty sturdy. Like they're made of steel.
You've only had them tuned in that 10 years? You tuned
I've
them
had them tuned twice in 10 years.
Oh, okay.
Do you have to go to Pensacola?
Yeah. But it's on the
What a
way to
strange
Tallahassee, so I drop them off
place.
on the way home and
Right.
then come
It's a
back.
strange place for someone to make steel pans to live, actually. Pensacola. Did he move there for the beach or something? Or is he from?
That's the air base there.
I don't
That's
remember
where
where he's from.
The Air
but yeah.
Force
Weirdo.
Base.
But yeah, he did Ellie Minette was his mentor, and Ellie Minette is a really important Trinidadian that lives in Virginia Beach now, and he was a huge composer and like pioneer in steel pan, and like he was like supposedly one of the fathers of steel pan, one of the first people that ever was involved with making them. So he now relocated to Virginia Beach, and Alan Coyle, who lives in Pensacola, studied with him. So I don't know where
I think we got the
Coyle
lowdown
came
here
from,
on
but
the steel
that's
pan
where he
business.
ended
That's
up.
for sure.
Trinidadian, what is it, a Trinidad Tobago?
TNT.
So,
TNT.
so you call them TNTs. Okay.
Hey, we're going to get out of here in a minute, but first, before we go, Manny, we've got an opportunity to ask you about politics.
Okay, what?
We haven't even touched on the subject. What's your take on what's going on with Trump versus Hillary and everything?
Oh, God. I think it would be great if we had a woman president because we wouldn't have to pay her as much. No!
Zing.
Okay, very good.
You burnt.
And as
Okay.
far as Trump goes, I don't understand America. I really don't understand.
That's what everybody's saying.
Yeah,
I thought you might have some sort
but
of
he has the
different take on it.
I think Trump is like oh fuck, what was I going to say? I had something written down, now I can't remember it. No, I don't understand. I think it's part of the culture today, and part of like if you leave, like I remember about 2 years ago, my niece came down here from Los Angeles, and she goes, I want to see Duck Dynasty. I said, leave Orleans Parish. It's all over the place. Okay, there's Duck Dynasty. And I think that's what you're getting with Trump. Trump is feeding to the masses, just like to the illiterates, really. He's just feeding them what they want to hear.
Man,
anyone can say...
Daytona Beach.
Yeah, exactly.
Daytona Beach.
Anyone
Case in
could say,
point.
oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Well, how? How are you going to do it? He hasn't explained one thing yet on how he's going to do it.
I haven't heard him say anything that
Yeah,
makes
I'm
any
a
sense
businessman.
here.
He's going to, I'll make America great again. Why don't we make America Mexico again, because that's what it, what it is.
Well, all he says he's going to build a wall and kick out 11 million undocumented immigrants. That's about all he actually
How?
said.
How is he
I
gonna-
mean, it's impossible. Both of those things are impossible, first of all.
Yeah. You
First
can't
of all, if
do
you
it.
build a wall, how are they going to get out?
Right. Yeah.
That's the first question I'd
How
ask.
tall is this wall going to be?
Well,
And
the
if
whole
it-
thing is
and if it's
insane.
Mexico, it's going to be made of mud, probably.
But what's going to happen now is he's going to go up against Hillary, and she's going to have a billion actual things that she's going to do and can explain and have numbers, and he doesn't give a shit about any of that, and he could still beat her,
Yeah.
Yeah.
don't you think? It's
Yeah.
It's
It
frightening.
is frightening.
It's very frightening.
It's
very
frightening.
You could wake up on November, the whatever date it is, and there'd
Yeah.
be President Trump, and it wouldn't be quite so funny. Cindy, what are you working on before we get out
Oh,
of
I'm
here?
sorry. Here's
Uh-oh,
what I had written. Trump's excuse for not sharing his tax returns is the same excuse I give for not sending pictures of my penis. There's nothing to learn from him.
Ah, very good, Manny. Very
Okay.
nice.
Okay,
Very
So
thank
you
nice.
can't even take dick pics on that phone. I don't think.
Nah.
That is a very ancient looking.
It's vintage.
It's
No,
a
it
vintage
makes them
phone.
look-
Yeah, I guess.
It's
yeah.
got the fisheye lens. It makes them
something.
look
Yeah.
It's got a pop-out keyboard. Look at that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very
That's my
nice.
daughter. There's
QWERTY,
Selena.
baby.
There's Selena
That's
right
your
there
daughter.
about 4 years
That's
ago.
Selena.
Acting crazy as always.
So the phone's like 4 years old anyway.
Oh, this phone is this phone I got when we evacuated for Katrina.
You've
I got
had that
this
phone all that time.
I've had it.
It's still working great.
We lived in Austin, Texas after
Oh
Katrina.
my God, that's like
I
10,
mean,
11
Austin,
years ago.
Texas, yeah, the only cool city in the whole state of Texas, really. Everywhere else was just,
Just Texas.
just Texas.
Cindy, what do you do? What are you working on?
Well, I'm not
Currently.
working on a piece of writing like that.
Oh,
You're not. Are you doing anything exciting? What are you doing?
But I am. Well, I'm painting, as I told you. I have been taking classes at the the Fine Arts Academy on magazine.
Uh-huh.
And they're getting ready to have a student show on Saturday.
Are you in that?
Well, I'll know once you go that I submitted 2 paintings, and if they're up during the show, then they took them. It's a juried show. If they didn't, they didn't. I'm working on a piece of writing about value. This is just something I think about all the time, about how to help people value themselves more. People actually that were grown up with no value given their circumstance and situation, and about what value is, like what does it equal. And I believe it equals contribution and circumstance. That if you contribute, then it doesn't have to be about money. I'd like to start a conversation, but first I have the conversation with myself and working out my piece of writing.
Could this be a textbook?
Well, it's not going to be a textbook.
It's
not going to be a textbook.
It would.
Yeah, I think at first it would just be more like a essay or a piece of writing.
More and more professors are just writing their own little books and saying, "This is what we're learning this semester." They're not even going through publishers. They just go to Kinko's.
Do they make students buy them?
Yep, they do.
Yeah.
That's a pretty interesting idea.
Yeah.
That sounds unethical, but
the last thing I work on is I worked on rules and regulations for the dogs and cats in the county in Tennessee.
Rules and regulations for dogs and cats.
Every county has.
Are they
every
law-abiding normally?
Yeah, every
Dogs and
county
cats,
has rules and regulations for.
There's not much in common between dogs and cats.
Darling, there's pages and pages and pages and pages of them.
And these dogs and cats can read these regulations.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you guys!
In Tennessee,
see, you guys are. This is Daytona. No, okay.
Yes, exactly.
I wish there were
I'm
no
just glazing
regulations.
over.
Why do they have to be regulations?
My daughter's
they
cat's
have to
going
be
blind
protected.
right now as we speak.
What it is
Going blind.
protection. It's not regulations for them. It's protection for them. That's
For the animals?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's raising housing value, like how they have to be housed because people will just put them in a metal barrel or things of that nature.
You know what?
In a metal barrel. How hunters house their dogs. They just stick a metal barrel out there.
That's where your accent really got me there. Metal barrel.
Oh, yeah.
Metal barrel.
That's acceptable in most places.
Metal barrel.
Oh, yeah.
Metal barrel.
Metal barrel.
Metal barrel. Anyway,
Put a
that's
a
a passion.
dog.
That's a passion of mine.
Yeah. Well, I guess you could put a dog in a metal barrel and send it over the Niagara Falls. That would be something. Where would you get a metal barrel from to put a dog
The
in?
hunters put.
Oh, they have them.
They put them all. They
I
put
see.
the dogs. A lot of the hunters have metal barrels as housing for their dogs.
Do they still do fox chasing? Is that still done?
I don't know.
Somewhere,
Fox hunting.
probably in Europe or
Fox
something.
hunting.
I
Yeah, they
don't
do.
know.
They in Virginia.
Wherever there's
Virginia,
foxes.
Maryland.
Hey guys, I'm sorry about this, but we have to get the hell out of here. We've got to get these steel drums
It's
out of the way
time.
so
Let's
they
get
can
the
actually
hell
get
out
paying
of here.
customers. Sindy Scalfi has been here, spelled Sindy, if we're looking for her. Manny Chevrolet. What happened to the Bruno? You don't use that anymore? You just
No,
go
that
with
law
Manny
company.
Chevrolet?
What's that law company? They came down on me for that.
Bruno.
I go, it's my name.
Law
Bruno,
firm.
Bruno.
They came
Yeah,
down on
Bruno.
you for using your own name.
Yeah, for my own
You
name.
need to hire one of their lawyers.
Yeah,
Sue them.
probably.
And Daria Dzurik from Daria and the Hip Drops, along with Graham Robinson.
Yes, that's
from
right.
Daria
Oh,
and the
listen,
Hip Drops. Thank you
June
so much,
7th, I'll
guys.
be at the Blue Nile. We're doing a benefit for the musicians clinic. We're doing our own gong show at the Blue Nile.
Oh,
Tuesday
that
night.
sounds brilliant.
Can I be in it, Manny?
Sure, you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a MannyChevrolet.com to find out about that?
No, I
Forget
come
that
on.
bullshit,
It's-
right? Okay.
Just go to
Something.
just send me. I have a fan page on Facebook.
on Facebook, Manny Chevrolet.
The next mayor of New
Okay.
Orleans.
The
Thank
next
you.
mayor of New Orleans. Let's hope. That's how to find you. Graham DePonte is the producer of our show and our technical director, and associate producer is Chris Kehoe. Christian Unruh is our music director, and our theme music was written by and is currently being played by Mitch Foreman. If you'd like to be on our show and you can sit upright for about 60 minutes, drop us a line. Our address is on our website, itsneworleans.com. You'll also find lots of other happy hours to listen to, as well as some other shows we make here. Out to Lunch with Peter Asciuti, live from Commander's Palace. True to the Game with Chris True. Midnight Menu with Margot Moss and the Man Who Ate New Orleans, Ray Canata. Louisiana Eats with Poppy Tooker. Milo's Music Parlor with Kim Vu, and the podcast about death, simply called Death, the Podcast, with psychologist Dr. Arian Alfant. You can also find other great Louisiana podcasts at itsacadiana.com and itsbatonrouge.la. You can keep up with us on Facebook, on Twitter, and a bunch of other time-sucky social media as well. On all of it, we're called It's New Orleans. You can find photos from this show on itsneworleans.com and on our Facebook page. These photos were taken today by Alison Moon from Scott, Louisiana. If you listen to this on iTunes or Stitcher or some other podcast app, thank you for subscribing to us. Take a moment to rate and review us. That does actually help other people find us. Our show is recorded live today at Wayfare on 4th Street, where they put fine dining into a sandwich and onto a plate, and fine booze into a glass. And Happy Hour is a production of I Know Broadcasting for itsneworleans.com. Andrew Duhon will be back next week. He's in Alaska this week. If you're looking for him, he's fishing. I'm Grant Morris. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you back here next week on Happy Hour.
Let's be honest, there are tons of ways to send money back home, and every company promises me the same things: good rates and safe transfers. That's why it can be overwhelming to choose a new way to send money. I switched to Remitly because I can track my money every step of the way, which means I know exactly when my mom will get her money. And with their extensive payment network, my mom can receive her money in a way that is more convenient and safe for her. You should check it out. Go to Remitly.com or download their app to get started. Remitly Inc. is a licensed money transmitter by the state of New York, California, Massachusetts, and other states.